Wait, here we go. We're going. We're live. Recording. Action. It's because I gotta plug it in. Boom.
Still not up there.
Really? Oh, now it is.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, now it is. Ha. Okay. So from your formula sheet, we're going to talk about cylinders. However, it's important to understand what you have. You pop the top off this cylinder, and what shape do you have? Good. And pop the top off the bottom, what do you have? How many circles? Good. What about the barrel? Are you sure? You guys had such awesome teachers last year. Absolutely. It's a rectangle. Now, what is this measurement right here? From one circle to the other circle, what is it? Dude, I circled it. What is it? The height. And what's the other one? Josh! Bingo! Circumference, 2 pi r. Okay? So you have a rectangular shape in the middle. One's the height, one's 2 pi r. Now you guys all know how to find the area of a rectangle. It's length times width. So what would be the area of this rectangle? 2 pi r, the length, times the width, which is h. So this section of the cylinder, the area of it is found by going 2 times pi times r times h. You may want to write that down because some of you are forgetting that letters beside letters mean multiplication. And even numbers beside letters are a multiplication. Okay. What about the circles? What are the area of the circles again? Pi times r squared, another pi times r squared. So we could add it all up. How many pi r squareds would we have? 2 pi r squared. Plus the rectangle, which is 2 pi r h. Now it's important for later in math, next year we work backwards, so you want to write down this exact formula. Every time we start, Josh, every time we start a question, you are going to write down this entire formula, including the SA equals. Because next year, I'm going to say that the surface area equals 386, and you have to put that in where SA is and work backwards to tell me what R equals, or tell me what H equals. Okay? So you want to be able to do that easily by working with this entire formula exactly as I just finished writing it. Oops. On your formula sheet, you can find it right here. Make sure you understand there's 2 circles and the rectangle. And putting it all together, there's your formula for you. Okay. Now hopefully after today you've written it so many times you remember it, but always double check on a quiz and a test because you want it to be exactly correct. Okay. Good. So for the cylinder up above, we have a radius of 5, a height of 2. I'll show you how we do this. SA equals, start by writing that. 2 times pi times r squared plus 2 pi rh. How many times do you think I've found the surface area of a cylinder? Any ideas? Let's see, teaching for 15 years. Teach this every year for every grade, plus review. We're talking like hundreds and hundreds of times, and I still start by writing down the formula. I wonder if people are just learning this, maybe you've done this 1 year. Yeah, you probably should write that down too. Okay, so surface area equals, substitute in 2 times pi. What's the radius squared? It would be 5 squared. Plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. So the radius is 5, the height is 10. So the math we're going to do is we're going to figure out the value of 5 squared. What is the, put your calculator down, no calculators. What's the value of 5 squared? 25. And then we're going to go times 2 because there's 2 of them. What's 25 times 2? 50. So up front, we have an answer of 50 times pi. We always like to have our number in front of our letter. What do we like to have first? A number. Plus. Okay, so now we can multiply all our numbers. 2 times 5 times 10, or we go 5 times 10 times 2. Order doesn't matter for multiplication. What's the answer? 100. So plus 100 pi. How many pies do we have altogether then? 150 pi. And remember, if you're going to your calculator, it'd be 150 times pi. But we don't need to do that because I want the exact answer right now. Done. How many people use a calculator? Probably no one, hopefully. Okay. So you don't need to use your calculator. Alright, next one. I want you to try it now. Surface area equals what? How many circles? Plus the rectangle. Okay. Substitute in. So your radius is 8 and your height is 4. Even though the cylinder is sideways, you have to be careful and find the proper dimensions. What's the value of 8 times 8?
64.
Okay, so that's the first thing you have to do is do your exponents. Then you can double it, times it by 2. 128 pi. Now, a good little trick is how many people know the answer for 16 times 4 on top of their head? Not too many. Tough to do. So I like to go 8 times 4 first, because that is, and then times it by 2 afterwards, because it's easy to double numbers. 64. Okay. Now you can add them up. Is it 192 pi? Good. And remember, it's 192 times pi. Okay. Let's go to the nearest tenths, just to make sure you know how to do it, although I don't really like to do it. How many tenths would that be? Yeah, it's been acting funny on me, but it seems to be working again. How many pies is it?
192.
There we go. So on the new calculators, I can even enter in 192 pi, and the calculator is so smart, it does the multiplication for me. Okay. Not all calculators can do that. Most of them, like my other calculator here, I have to go 192 times pi. Why don't you try it on your calculator to see what yours will do right now. See if yours doesn't need to have the multiplication sign pressed. Okay, so this will be 603.2 centimeters squared. We shouldn't forget our units. Okay, so we should have centimeters squared and meters squared for the top one. Any questions? Anything you're stuck on? Unsure of? Okay. Next. So this is a little bit like review of our homework. We have a cube. How many equal sides on a cube or on a dice? And singular is die, by the way. Yeah, we have 6 equal sides. So the area of one square is 4 squared, which is 16, 4 times 4. And then we simply multiply by 6 to get our answer. (96 centimeters squared). So the trick is to figure out the area of one face. Did I do something wrong? Okay, the area of one face. All right. So, number 4. Please go ahead for number 4. Find the area of one face. Tell me how many faces are exposed, so you're not going to count any of the middle ones because they're touching. Okay. Go ahead. Dimensions 5 centimeters. So, on the left one, how many faces do we have? Well, if there's only one touching, that means there must be 5. What about on the right cube? Same thing, only one touching. So there's a total of 10 faces. Okay, so 10 equal squares are showing, so we take the area of one square, times it by 10, and gives us 250 centimeters squared. So what you should do is for each cube, decide on how many are covered so you know how many are exposed. Then add up the exposed squares. Please now complete number 5. Complete question 5. Okay, so now we have the side length is 6. So the area of one face would be 6 squared, 36 centimeters squared. The cube at the back, this blue one, how many? 5. One face is touching right here. The yellow one, how many? 5. The red one, how many? What about this green one? Well, there's one touching on the back, one touching on the side, one touching on the side. 3. Okay, 3. So there's a total of how many? 18 times 36. Sorry, 18 faces. Down here, 18 times 36. 648 centimeters squared. Any questions? Okay. Number 6, go for it. Be careful because it's changed a little bit. Okay, it's changed a little bit. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. You're given the area, so you don't need to find it. How many faces are exposed? This one is 5. This one is 4. This one is 4. This one is 5. Total of 18. So the surface area would be 18 times 26. Since you're told the surface area, it's a little bit easier, which is 468 millimeters squared. Now what about C? Do you think C will be larger than 468 or smaller? Why? Why larger? Yeah, the sides aren't touching, so there's more sides exposed. Good. So we have 4 cubes. Each one will have 6 faces exposed. And each area will have an area of 26. So we can go 4 times 6 times 24, 576 millimeters squared. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Yep. Oh. But this would be 4 times 6. Oh, did I do that on my calculator? 4 times 6 times 26. 624. Thanks. I'm glad someone's paying attention. Good.